episode number 31.
31.
All right. And the intro, you got By the Gods, a theme they created just for us. The video. Do I look sad? Oh man, it's such a great video. That's via Imbued Photography. The interview for today's episode is going to be none other than recent Bellator winner, Devin Powell, getting a win in his Bellator debut, looking for a contract there. And you can also check out our Patreon. We've got our interview with Travis Diablo Sauce Foster from last episode. It's up there, so go check out Travis Foster and all the other goodies that we have on there. We might even be dropping, I don't know, we'll have to see if we can figure it out, but we might be dropping our sound bites from UFC 244. So that's patreon.com/HeadKick Audio. You can follow me on the Instagram and Twitter. I am at the MMA Wordsmith. And you can follow Sir Jonathan
on Twitter and Instagram at the MMA White Belt.
That's how we get it done, ladies and gentlemen. So we had a busy week of fights. We also had a holiday, so that made things a little bit tricky. But here's how the week went down. We had We had Warrior Wednesdays. We had PFL on Thursday. We had Invicta on Friday. Super fucking badass card. And then all of that was just an appetizer for UFC 244 with the BMF title on the line. But you see, here at HeadKick Audio, we're allowed to say it. It's the Baddest Mother Fucker belt.
The Baddest Motherfucker belt.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get down. 2 UFC veterans getting wins over at your Warrior Wednesdays. Eric Shelton picking up a unanimous decision win over Jesse Bazzi. A couple 30-27s and a 29-28 there. Jared Brooks had a real short stint in the UFC. He was 2 and out. Had a no contest over at Ryzen, and now making his Warrior Wednesday debut, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But he gets the win over Victor Altamirano, an LFA veteran, via second round rear naked choke. He said, "Argh." Will Frost picked up a unanimous decision over Francisco Muniz, and Darnell White picked up a unanimous decision over Brian Scott. So your Warrior Wednesdays got you covered on Wednesdays. I wonder if they're ever going to do a different day, or if they're just forever Wednesday. I mean, I don't mind.
I think it should be a Warrior. Well, it's Warrior Wednesday, so I would keep it Wednesday.
Well,
but
yeah.
But then if they change it to like a Thursday, it'd be Warrior Thursday.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, that was in Southgate, Michigan. So the Michiganders, they get a decent card there. Thursday, it was your final playoff for PFL's 2019 season. And this was your heavyweights and your light heavyweights.
And man, did they fucking bring it, dude.
I'll tell you what, there was a lot of decisions on this card. Which is not something you'd expect from light heavyweights and heavyweights. But don't worry, Sorty's got you covered.
So, the opening fight, we have Emiliano Sordi defeating Sigi Pesalele via knockout. Round 1, about 1:13 in round number 1.
Dude's a badass.
Dude
is a fucking badass.
I honestly didn't see that coming, and obviously neither did Pesalele. So, but that was just amazing.
Okay, Bozigit Ataev defeated Viktor Nemkov via unanimous decision draw. So what they do here is when PFL has a draw in their playoffs this year, I'm pretty sure it's going to change next year, but this year what they're doing is whoever the judges feel did the best overall gets the nod.
Oh, okay, I remember that. Yeah,
okay, I still, I don't know that I like that system either, because judges suck. And the same thing happened in your next fight. Maxim Grisham was declared a majority draw, but Jordan Johnson, JJ, overall, in the judges' eyes, did better, so he got the nod there. Rashid Yusupov defeated Vinny Magoyesh via knockout, round 1, and he flatlined him. Like, he punched him, right? And then Vinny said, he was just smelling the canvas. He wanted to know what it smelled like.
You want his eyes taste of the canvas, see what it tastes like.
With his eyes closed and zero consciousness. It was a fucking very, very nice KO from Yusupov. Ali Isaev defeated Kevin Tiller via unanimous decision, but wait! Although the decision was a dominant win, there's some fuckery that happened backstage that I'll tell you about. And Jared Rosholt defeated Mohamed Dries via TKO in round numero uno. You know, Jared Rosholt, not known for his finishes.
No, he's
not known for his finishes, so surprising that he got one there. Okay, so that's your preliminary card. And I say preliminary card, I'll go ahead and give you the disclaimer. All these fights matter, but they have to have a prelim and a main card, because that's just how the whole fucking thing works. Maybe next year they'll figure something out, because I don't like the prelim, main event, or main card, but all the fights are equal and yada yada.
Yeah.
So, Denis Goltsov defeated Satoshi Ishii via majority decision. It was a pretty close fight, but Goltsov, the number 1 seed overall, gets the nod. And then Francimir Barroso defeated Alex Nicholson. This was a back and forth brawl, man.
That was. I thought Nicholson was going to come back and win that.
Okay, so we'll get to the fuckery. Okay, so Francimir Barroso defeats Alex Nicholson via unanimous decision. And then Jordan Johnson, okay, in his first fight, it was declared a majority draw, but he got the nod against Maxim Grisham, the only man to ever beat him in MMA. So he avenged his only loss, and then he defeats Rashid Yusupov, the guy who knocked out last year's favorite in Vinny Magoyesh. He takes him to a decision, and dude, he fucking dominated him. So what we're looking at here is you're looking at a guy who literally takes the first L of his career, turns it around. Now, guess what? In December of this year, he's fighting for $1 million.
Fuck yeah, turn that frown upside down, baby. Real quick.
Alright. So Jordan Johnson defeats Yusupov via unanimous decision, and then Emiliano Sordi going to a trilogy. Okay? He's a trilogy against Bozagit Ataev. Now, they fought each other twice. They each split knockouts. Okay? So it was all down to this fight right here. Emiliano Sordi comes out on top with the rear naked choke in round 1. So, look, Sordi's a bad motherfucker. This is gonna be a fucking super fucking interesting light heavyweight showdown between Emiliano, there you go, finally, Emiliano Sordi and Jordan Johnson. So, I believe Sordi is Argentinian?
Yeah.
He's South American.
Yeah.
So, sorry, gotta get the coffee in me. What are you looking at? Oh, okay, you're going on the whole thing?
Yeah.
So, Sordi and Johnson are now your light heavyweight final in December. And then here's the fuckery that I was talking about, okay? So, Francimir Barroso defeated Alex Nicholson via unanimous decision, but he was declared medically unfit to continue. So, they said, all right, Alex Nicholson, you're in, okay? And then they find out he's not medically cleared. So they're like, all right, hey Tiller, put your gloves back on. You're getting back in there, bro. So an unexpected trilogy between Jared Rosholt and Kelvin Tiller goes to the scorecards, and a dominant win for Jared Rosholt. I don't get it. $1 million is on the line. I understand you get the adrenaline dump. Okay, I lost, I'm out, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm back in. Cool, yeah, all right, cool. But it's $1 million on the line, my dude. Like, all the glory and all the wins aside, like, that's life-changing money, my friend. I felt that Tiller could have done way more, and just didn't. So, unfortunately,
I remember asking Tiller about having that trilogy between him and Rosholt.
I think it was a very winnable fight for him. I think it was a very winnable fight. But nonetheless, Jared Rosholt moves on, and he's half of your heavyweight final in December. And then number 1 seed Denis Goltsov took on Ali Isaev, and he was dominant throughout 3 rounds. Until about the last 15 seconds when Isaev just decided, fuck you, I want it more than you. But only for those 15 seconds. Because the rest of that round and the rounds before it, it didn't look like he wanted to be in there. I don't know if he was biding his time or what, but
I think that's what it could have been, because, man, he dropped him and then just ground and pound until either
How
the
was
bell...
that? How was that? He ground and pounded him.
Ground and pound. But, yeah, I mean, he was like, if I'm going to lose, I better lose swinging. And that actually, turned into gold right there. Now he's fighting for $1 million.
So now Ali Isaev and Jared Rosholt is your heavyweight final. So, Jonathan, go ahead and run through what December 31st is going to look like for the PFL.
All right. So, on Tuesday, December 31st, for your women's lightweight championship and $1 million, you have Kayla Harrison facing Larissa Pacheco.
Okay.
For your featherweights, I don't remember their first names.
Lance Palmer and Daniel Pineda.
They will be fighting for the featherweight title and $1 million.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, the Party versus the Pit.
And your men's lightweight, you have
Natan Schultz.
And can't even say that dude's name. Hajibov. They will be facing off for your lightweight title and $1 million. In your welterweights, we have David Mashad going against Ray Cooper III.
Bulldog, get it, buddy.
And as we just mentioned, in your light heavyweights, you're going to have Emiliano Sordi and Jordan Johnson. And for your heavyweight fight, you got Ali Isaev going against Jared Rosholt.
So lots of international talent in the PFL, and lots of names that are extremely difficult to pronounce.
Definitely.
Okay, but that is what PFL looks like in December. So all these guys, they've got basically 2 months to get their shit together and, get in there for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Every single fight in the final is worth $1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 million on the line on December 31st. 6 motherfuckers from these brackets are gonna walk into 2020 $1 million richer. So we're gonna have 6 new millionaires.
That is a great way to bring in the new year, right?
And I tell you what, PFL is doing great things. They need to do something to get people to know who their fighters are. Because the UFC, they do the embedded, they do the, I forget the one that they just started.
Isn't it like a documentary series thing?
Yeah, they just did one with Weidman and...
yeah, it's almost like a 30 for 30, but it's something different.
Yeah, and it's almost like the fucking, the embeddeds, only, they only do 2 of them instead of like a series of 6.
Oh, okay.
Which we need to get on the embeddeds. This is starting to annoy me. Moving on, Invicta 38 in Kansas City, Kansas at the Memorial Hall. They really like this venue. They really like this. I like the venue too. This is Invicta FC is all women's MMA. No dudes except for your ring card boy.
You can't tell, but I'm holding the card.
Yep.
No one wants to see this, but, whatever.
I believe their ring card boy is, I forget his name. I really do. I really do forget his name. He was released from the UFC, 8-3 record. Yeah, he's going to find that out for you. And while he finds that out for you, I'll go ahead and go over some of these results here. Tanisha Tennant defeated Serena De Jesus via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Autumn Norton, a favorite of ours, she took on Cheyenne Rincon and got a dominant decision there, 30-26 across the board. And I believe that contest might have been at featherweight. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it was featherweight. Lisa Versosa defeated Carrie Kennison via unanimous decision. Again, 29-28 across the board. Shadable defeated Maiju Saotama via unanimous decision. 29-27s and a 28-26. So 2 of the rounds more dominant than the other. Mallory Martin defeated Cynthia Arceo via unanimous decision, 30-26s and a 30-27. Good win for a recent Dana White's Contender Series alumni, Mallory Martin. You have the...
I think so. It's
Elias Theodoro?
It's been the same dude, right?
Yeah, Elias Theodoro.
Yep, that's him.
Okay. So as soon as he says, oh yeah, it's this guy, I'm like, oh yeah, I know who he is. Right? Vanessa Porto. Now look, check this out, okay? So Vanessa Porto defeated Karina Rodriguez via unanimous decision. 29-28. Now, let me explain that to you. I say 29-28 when this was originally scheduled as a title fight. Now, it was only 3 rounds because the challenger, Karina Rodriguez, missed weight.
Oh.
So, when the challenger misses weight, it's no longer a title fight. Porto doesn't even have to take it. She does anyway. She says, yeah, fuck it. I trained. Might as well.
Yeah,
Might as well.
put in all that time.
And then they have a fucking war. And it was a really good fight. It was a really good fight, and it was really closely contested. It was really close. I believe you're going to have people out there that can make a case for either girl. I, however, did see what the judge saw. She just edged it out just a little bit and gets the unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. It was really close. I don't know what 5 rounds would look like. All I do know is that Vanessa Porto did not look to form.
Mm-hmm.
And if Bennett would have been in there instead of Rodriguez, I think that fight is different. It's going 5 rounds because Bennett's going to make weight.
Oh, definitely.
And see, the deal here is, why am I bringing up Bennett? You know, I'm not just a Bennett nut hugger, but Karina Rodriguez had a split decision win over Deanna.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that if that fight would have gone the other way, then you might be looking at a new champion tonight instead of a non-title bout.
Definitely.
So they were originally the main event. So they get bumped down to the co-main event. But luckily, Invicta had their vacant strawweight title up for grabs between, she's not newcomer because she's making her sophomore appearance in the Invicta cage, but Emily Ducati versus Kanako Murata. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. It could be just Murata. But I like saying Murata. And she's Japanese, not Brazilian. But anyways, this was, again, another close fight. Ducati throwing up lots of submission attempts from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But she just kept getting taken down. She just kept getting taken down. And I think that a lot of the judges saw the takedowns and the pressure, you know, ultimately giving her the split decision win, 48-47, 47-48, and 49-46. It was close, but I do think that you know, the wrestling played a huge factor. I think it played a huge factor here, and you have a new champion, but you were gonna have a new champion regardless.
Yeah.
Kanako Murata. So that is Invicta 38, and I don't know if you guys know, but we were live tweeting that bitch, and we ended up on TV, so that was fucking cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show him later. That's it. That's it for Invicta. So let's go ahead and move on to UFC 244, Masvidal versus Diaz. Now, before we get into it, let me just tell you this. If you were tuned in on Cranium Radio last night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so that's 10 p.m. Eastern, we were doing live commentary via Cranium Radio. You can follow Cranium Radio on Instagram and Twitter at Cranium_radio. I'll try and drop that in here somewhere. And then on Facebook, just look them up, Cranium Radio. Now this is internet radio, and the beautiful thing about doing internet radio is it's much like our show. We are not limited into what we can say. Okay, if we were doing regular commentary, I don't think that we'd be allowed to say the baddest motherfucker and shit like that.
We'd have to say the baddest mother.
Well, John Anik almost said it. I wish he would have. But the professional that he is, he didn't do it, and I wish he would have. But he said, baddest motherfucker, BMF. Damn it, so close to seeing that. But we were on Cranium Radio, and we did the whole card. We sat here for 3 hours in the studio on that guy right there, live tweeting the fights, giving our own color commentary on the fights. Dude, it was a blast.
Dude, that was actually a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and we'll probably be doing that every Saturday night or morning, depending on the card. I just got to work it out with the station, because I believe next weekend for UFC Russia, let me see, it's not St. Petersburg. Where's the next card at? Yeah, open that up in a new thingy. Open that up in a new thingy. You love my fucking...
It's in Moscow, Russia.
In Moscow. Okay, so that fight is going to be on at like 8 o'clock in the morning, our time.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the main card is 11 a.m.?
Yeah, that's usually what it is. If it starts at 8, then...
Okay, so the main card starts at 11 a.m., so I believe the station is free and clear, so we might be doing it again. Now, back to UFC 244. As fun as it was, it had a very anticlimactic main event.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, and I'm not saying that the fight sucked, it's just the ending to the fight sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Now, as you can see, he is not wearing anything representing 209 because Game Bread, or your 3-piece and a soda, took the victory. So I get to wear the fun shirt while he's stuck in a polo. Because somebody over here picked the main event and the co-main event incorrectly. Fucking white belt.
Fuck you.
It's a fucking white belt. Actually, he usually squishes me in the picks.
Yeah, you went, well, you only won, well, I guess a win's a win, but yeah, this time around, yeah, you went 8-4 in the picks, and I went 7-5. So congratulations, host, you finally beat the co-host.
I finally beat the white belt. What does that make me? I'm the whitest belt.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how the whole card played out from start to finish. We'll go ahead and start from the bottom and work our way to the main event. Hakeem Dawodu defeated Julio Arce via split decision, and unfortunately it went the white belt's way. He picked Dawodu here. Yeah. But who won overall?
You know what? I'm a head up. You can do this.
Alright, I'm out. Okay, so split decision there. A fun fight to open your card. And look, check this out. Okay, so
Very fun fight.
in your early prelims, you've got Hakeem Dawodu, Julio Arce, Lyman Good, chance for encounter, Caitlin Chukagian, Jennifer Maia. That's probably a number one contender bout for the flyweight division. In the women's flyweight division, I should say. They're not gonna fight Cejudo, even though he probably would. Fucking guy, get out of here, cringy ass. But that's your early prelims. Those are all like regular prelim worthy.
Yeah.
Chukagian, Maya, you could slap that on a pay-per-view. I'm watching it. Lyman ring counter, you could slap that on a pay-per-view. Okay. Fucking Hakeem and fucking Arce. Okay, slap it on our pay-per-view. I'm cool with it. So all these fights, at least in one man's opinion, are pay-per-view worthy. Well, not saying co-main event or main event or anything like that, but those are all like you can throw that in the beginning of a pay-per-view. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I
mean, they were all great fights.
Very, very great fights. I think that was actually a pretty good way to like start the night off. I just wish that when people buy their tickets to go to these events,
they would go
for the entire damn time instead of like I'm going to spend X amount of dollars and just go for the main event. Like why? Like you spent all that money, go get your money's worth. This was fucking worth however much money you paid for a ticket.
I bet you those tickets are expensive.
Whether it's thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. You're going to get your fucking money's worth. And these 3 fights that started this pay-per-view off, voila, hats off to all the fighters.
All right, so your second fight, Lyman Good defeated Chance Rencounter via knockout round 3. The fight was already going Good's way, but good on him. Good on him to still look for the finish. Ring counter is... What happened there? Yeah. Ring counter, known for his durability. Yeah, he took a beating.
Yeah, all 3 rounds he was like, come on, I can take it, and then finally was like, I can't take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want, he couldn't do it no more. He went down at 2:03 in round 3. So Lyman Good, he's really starting to. I think he's starting to put it together here in the later stages of his career.
Yeah, his striking looked phenomenal in that fight.
Dude's got power.
Yeah.
Dude's got fucking real power for 170 pounds. He's going to be a lot of problems for this division going forward. I believe he's only 3-2 so far in the UFC, but he's already fought guys like Damian Maia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lost, but I mean, so did a lot of people. A lot of people lose to Damian Maia, so there's no shame in that. Caitlin Chukagian defeated Jennifer Maia via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. It was a pretty fun fight for a women's flyweight affair. Again, Jennifer Maia misses weight for the 2nd consecutive time.
I think it's time to just, move up, girl.
Yeah, because it's not fair. It's really not. Coming in there heavy, I don't care why you missed weight, going in there heavy gives you an advantage. And I'm not with it.
Yeah, I mean, and I know I've said this on like countless other episodes, but, cutting weight is part of your job as a fighter, whether, man or woman, because I've seen a couple of dudes that miss weight. And it's like, that's almost kind of like your number one job aside from, training for your fight. You've got to maintain the weight. Like, what the fuck? Like, no one, like, they're not going to put you in, I guess this would have been a title contention fight, but because she missed weight, guess what? Now she's got to go fight like maybe another fight or two, or maybe even change weight classes now. And it's like, you're just fucking yourself over.
Yeah. Another thing that I just don't understand is you signed the contract for 125 pounds.
Yeah.
126 because this isn't a title fight. But you signed the contract at 126 pounds, and then, when has signing a contract not mattered? If I sign a piece of paper, I agree to everything that's on that fucking paper. It's my job to make sure everything on that paper happens.
Yep. You
know what I mean? Look at guys like fucking John Lineker. John Lineker fucked himself out of a title fight because of missing weight too many times. So it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Just make the weight. Just make the weight. Do what you gotta do to make the weight. Or, here's an idea. Go up. Okay, Jar Rosenstruck defeated Andrei Arlovsky in under 30 seconds via knockout.
I was so mad.
Oh man, look, Rosenstruck is a bona fide badass. Now moves to, I believe, like 9-0. A knockout over a former champion in Arlovsky. But I don't know where Arlovsky goes from here, man.
I think, to be honest, if I was Arlovsky, I'd probably hang it up. I mean, because I think this is his.
I'm looking it up too.
What is it, like his fifth or sixth straight loss, maybe?
No. He got a win over Rothwell in his last fight.
Oh, okay. So, but still, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So, like, out of his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last 6, he's 1-5. Yeah, I think. Hey, I did fucking good math. Holy shit.
It's about time.
Fuck yeah.
And look, and all of his losses are, they're not world beaters, but Shamil Abdurakhimov, I fucking hate these names. Okay, so Shamil Harris, 2 contenders there, Tai Tuivasa, he was ranked at one point, Augusto Sakai, he got the win over Ben Rothwell, but I don't know, against these young up-and-comers, I don't think I think Andre should be fighting those veterans. I think he should really be fighting your Ben Rothwells of the world. I really do.
Yeah.
So if he continues fighting, I mean, if he wanted to call it quits, I mean, that's up to him. Obviously, he can still compete.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's, not in shape or anything, but, I mean, fucking getting knocked out in under 30 seconds of the first round. I mean,
yeah, but
how many
the kid was only 8-0. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more wear and tear on Andre's body and brain.
Yeah, true. And this just adds to it. I mean, not to count Rosenstruck out. I mean, he looked great, but
can you imagine him versus that fucking Gain guy?
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Make it happen.
I'd watch the fuck out of that. Edmond Shabazzian defeated Brad Tavares via head kick knockout. And us over here at HeadKick Audio, we appreciate that shit. We said as much on our broadcast. Now, I thought Brad Tavares' veteran savvy would have been too much for the young Shabazzian. I was fucking wrong. Edmond looked great. Set up the fucking head kick like, whoa. And then, put him out. Excuse me. Put him out with follow-up punches. So, oh man. Coffee.
You got that coffee burn over there?
Yeah. So, Shabazzian, I think he remains undefeated, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think this moves him to like 9-0? 10-0?
11-0.
11-0. So I could not be more wrong about this kid. Anyways, looking like the future of the middleweight division.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see him fight, if he can take out a guy like Tavares, who's just known for being, look, he took Adesanya to decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he took Adesanya to division.
Division.
Yeah, look that up. Or maybe it was like a 4th round knockout. No, Brad Tavares. Look up Brad Tavares.
Alright, normally my computer's pretty quick. There we go. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he took a...
Yeah, so he took the current champ to a decision. He lost, but hey, I mean, the guy's a champ for a reason, right? Well, Edmond Shabazzian, he didn't need no scorecards, and he usually doesn't. So, like I said, I'd like to see him fight somebody a little bit more higher in the ranks. I could see, let's see, I think, Yoel Yomeo. He should be looking for a fight. I think Cannonier's probably looking more up than down, so we can't look there. Darren Till, he just made his middleweight debut. I could see them trying to put that one together. A young up-and-comer in Shabazzian versus Darren Till, who just made his middleweight debut. So you could potentially put a fight like that together. But I think stylistically, he like a Yoel Romero or even a KG. I can see that. So we'll just have to see. But definitely, he needs to be looking up.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Some of these guys coming off losses, they still, look up, but they're going to have to take something a little bit lower in the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the future is bright for Shabazzian. Shane Burgos defeated Meikwan Amirkhani via round 3 knockout. It was an accumulation of strikes. First round does not go Shane Burgos' way, though.
No, and I didn't think the fight was going to go his way at all, the way that first round played out.
Yeah, well, he turned it around, man. He really, really showed what he was fucking made of, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking really cool to see him, battle through adversity, come back, win the second round, and then dominate the third round, crushing him with fucking body shots, body kicks. I think that was the work that ended up getting him the TKO victory in round 3.
I think after that first round, his corner and him, they talked it out, of course, and just came out in that second round and kind of got a little bit more pep in his step, started landing some good shots, and then I think after figuring out, hey, I think we won that second round, just turned that shit up to 100 and got him with the body shots and just made it work.
Hell yeah. So Burgos, your winner via TKO round 3. Corey overtime. I missed the beast in 25-8. That was his nickname before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Instead of 24/7, 25/8.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm a beast in 25/8. I love that. Now it's just overtime, but Corey Anderson defeated Johnny Walker via first round knockout, 207 in the first. Bruv, Corey Anderson ain't fucking around.
No, he wants it. He's ready.
I think he wants John Jones. He even said so in the post-fight interviews. He said, "Give me John Jones, or release me." That's bold, because Corey Anderson, up until very recently, you weren't very exciting. I'll put that out there. I enjoy watching Corey Anderson fight. I think the guy's a very intelligent fighter. Now, you know what I mean? He wasn't early on, but now he's really starting to put it together, and now he's putting together finishes against, guys who thought would, be a bad matchup for John Jones. But Corey Anderson's 13-4, but he's on a 4-fight win streak with wins over Patrick Cummings, Glover Teixeira, former title challenger, Ilir Latifi, and if you just looking at that guy, you'd be like, wow, Corey Anderson beat that thing? Okay. And now the knockout over Johnny Walker. I don't know. I think he's beat a bunch of middle-of-the-pack guys. I think maybe it's time for a step up in competition. And right now, the only step up is John Jones. The only step up is John Jones. I mean, if Corey Anderson, if the rumors of what I hear are true, and Alexander Gustafsson is coming back, well, Gustafsson, in my eyes, is the second best light heavyweight out there right now. Because DC over at heavyweight, he ain't fucking around with 205 no more. So, and he shouldn't. He really shouldn't. Stick at heavyweight, or just retire, buddy. But Alexander Gustafsson would be your number 2 guy. So, really, that's all you have for Corey Anderson. Because Dominic Reyes, he's right there too, man. He's beating guys that, again, are middle of the pack, but that's what you got. You have middle of the pack, John Jones. If Alex comes back, then Alex is somewhere in the middle, but that's all you got. So Corey Anderson taking out young prospect Johnny Walker, good for the career, but asking to be released, probably not the smartest.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should ever use that as a bargaining chip.
No. See, that's where I think you're wrong. I think more fighters should, because it's like, then why the fuck am I here? If I'm doing everything you asked me to, okay, I put a win streak together. Okay, and then you want finishes. I just finished the guy that was finishing everybody. I did it in the first round, just like he did to everybody else. What more do you want from me? Give me John Jones or release me. I get where he's coming from.
Well, now that I hear it put that way, I understand.
Okay.
But still.
Again, it's just like, but that was up until very recently, bruv. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I probably am not saying, release me, but I am saying give me John Jones and don't come to me with another fight until then. Then let the UFC make the decision here. But when you got guys like Dominic Reyes, okay, who, I mean, if they said, hey, Dominic Reyes, what the hell was that? Is that your phone? What's your phone doing over there?
Why is my phone trying to talk to me?
You
said Dominic Reyes, and it was like, oh, you want to talk to Dominic Reyes?
Yeah, sure, let's get him on the line.
Shut up, Google.
Anyway, I don't think it's that smart when there's already, another contender right there. You have a couple guys that are on the cusp. So, I don't know, I probably would have done something a little bit different, but nonetheless, Corey Anderson looking like, maybe John Jones is the next fight for him, and I wouldn't be upset. You got, what else do you have for him? Unless you want to do a number 1 contender fight between Corey Anderson and Dominic Reyes, and I'm not upset at that either.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think that should be a fight that should happen before Anderson gets Jones.
I think that...
I think that would cement, okay, this dude is, for real.
Well, and both guys are they're right there. They don't have that win that shows you that they're for real.
Yeah.
And I think I honestly don't think a win over the other does it for him either. With John, you gotta put it together. You have to be... Let's move on, because we'll be stuck on that for a minute. Kevin motherfucking Motown Phenom Lee Holy shit, bro.
What a way to open up.
Hey, all you doubters. I was one of them. I picked Gillespie. I was like, you know what? Motown's been pretty inconsistent as of late. You know, he can't really decide on what weight class he wants to be in. You know, he's got losses via arm triangle choke. Gillespie's got like 4 of them on his record. It's not looking good for Lee. And then he says, yo, over at TriStar, we've been putting in work. And guess what? He fucking head kicked that motherfucker. Head kick.
Head kick.
And that dude went night-night. Took another back fist for his troubles.
Yeah. Oh, dude just fucking got kicked and was like, oh. And then on the way back, oh.
Yeah. It's almost as if Lee knew that when he fell back, he was going to be stuck like this up against the cage. So Lee said, no, don't do that. It'll hurt your neck.
Let me help you.
Yeah. So Kevin Lee looking like a fucking new man over at TriStar. And check this out. Normally Kevin Lee is a chirper. He likes to chirp, man. He likes to talk shit on social media. None of that. There was none of that going on Twitter. I've looked it up.
Well, maybe that's the one thing that needed to change. And, you know, instead of trying to be the shit talker on social media, just fucking...
leave it in the cage.
Yeah.
Leave it in the cage. And man, he looked great. Both guys really good wrestlers here. So I was telling John on the broadcast that, you know, 9 times out of 10, these fights like this tend to play out on the feet. And played out on the feet for all of 2 minutes and 47 seconds before Lee decided to make him go night-night. And night-night he went. He is okay. He got up, so he's not dead. We know that for sure.
Even though it looked like it.
Yeah. What would you charge him? Manslaughter? Murder 1? Like, it looked pretty fucking intentional. I'm thinking murder 1. That was murder 1.
Murder in the first degree with intent.
Right? Derek the Black Beast Lewis getting it done via split decision over Blagoy Baka Ivanov. This was a more output than normal for both guys. Blagoy showing the world, hey, it's real.
Yeah, dude, that guy's got a fucking chin.
Yeah.
Lewis was throwing some bombs.
That's all Lewis knows how to throw.
Well, and it wasn't like he was just throwing, a right here, a left there. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking like E Honda from Street Fighter.
I mean, both guys were putting combinations together, and really, Derek Lewis was swinging to hurt. I believe the tallies were Derek Lewis threw 37 significant strikes. And all of them were every single strike he threw. Every single strike he throws is a significant strike. And Blagoy took them all. Now this guy is probably the new Mark Hunt, I swear. His chin is fucking...
very tough dude.
Yeah, very, very tough guy. So a split decision win for the underdog, Derek Lewis. It's not very often that he's the underdog. But it was a split. It was a split on the scorecards. I had Derek Lewis winning. I don't know where the split comes from.
Yeah.
But at least 2 rounds to get it all tangled up.
Yeah, because I had Blagoy winning. It's probably up for debate, but I had Blagoy winning the first round and then Lewis winning the second and third. I mean, I guess it just depends on how you saw the first and second round, like who you give that round to.
Yeah, I think this is a good win for Lewis, coming off of a layoff. He hasn't fought since a knockout loss to JDS in a fight where he looked very flat, he looked very timid. I would say borderline scared of JDS. So, and Derek Lewis has not been shy about it. He's been very open about getting in there against some of the baddest dudes on the fucking planet at heavyweight. And saying, I'm fucking scared when I get in there because it's fucking scary. Yeah. Any of these guys can shut your lights off. He's been on that end where he's had his lights shut off. Go back and watch him versus Mitrio. Go back and watch him versus Sean Jordan too. Okay? This shit can happen, especially in the heavyweight division. One fucking touch from one of these guys and you're going night-night. You know what fucking Lee did to Gillespie?
Yep.
Yeah, this is heavyweight all day with any strike. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson claiming the nicest motherfucker on the planet.
The NMF.
Right? The
NMF. That actually sounds dirty. I don't know.
Yeah. He defeats Vicente Luque via unanimous decision. And it was a badass fight. It was
that
a
was
badass
a
fight.
very, very bad. There was actually a couple of times where I thought Luque was going to go out because
he's got chin too, man. He's got
what the
chin
fuck?
too.
What the hell is up with everybody having like chins?
I don't know, but can you imagine? What if I had 2 chins? That'd be fucking weird.
That would actually. I just imagine you with like 2 chins walking around just. You look like this. Let's see if I can do it. Hold on.
Let me see.
Let's see if I can. So if you had 2 chins, it would look. Let's see. So
no, because that's just 2 beards.
Yeah, but that's 2 beards. But like if you had
2 chins,
it'd be like, well, if you have the butt chin, you technically have 2 chins. So it would look. I don't know if you can see it, but it'd be like.
It might be a dimple. I haven't seen my chin in so long, dude. I don't even know what my chin looks like, to be honest with you. Do not. No, that was so wrong. That was so wrong. Oh, God. For those of you listening and not watching, probably go to the YouTube. We're about, let's see, we're about 45 minutes in, so go to about 45 minutes in and
if you want to see what's under the beard.
Oh, no, don't.
Come to 45 minutes.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay.
Stephen Thompson getting the win over Vicente Luque. And before we move on, you want to go over bonuses?
Yes, I do.
Because we had some performance bonuses go out to a few fighters on UFC 244.
All right. So, speaking of Wonder Boy and Luque, they actually got fight of the night. Congratulations, guys. You guys fucking deserve it. Performance of the nights go to Kevin Lee for that vicious head kick knockout, and Corey Anderson for his vicious knockout.
Yeah, so all these guys on this card, really, really, really fun fights. I don't think there was one boring fight on this fucking card. Man. Okay, so Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque really, really had a wonderful performance for that to get fight of the night.
Definitely.
Because, like I said, all the fights on this card so far, up until this point, were great. Your feature bout, Stephen Thompson coming off a 2-fight losing streak, putting it together, ending the Silent Assassin 6-fight win streak. Now look, I think both guys' stock get raised in this fight, much like, the main event. I don't think there's a real loser here. Vicente Luque gets to find out what he's made of. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson gets to find out that he's still got it, even at like 35, 36. I know he's getting up there in age. Oh, this coffee. Well, usually we're drinking beers, but since we're doing this in the morning, it's all coffee.
Yeah, we're not alcoholics.
No.
Yet.
Well, I am, but it is what it is. So, yeah, really, really, really fun fight. Congratulations to both guys getting fight of the night. Darren Till, the Gorilla, defeated Kevin Gastelum via split decision. I had it 2 rounds to 1 for Till. That's just me.
Same here.
That's just me. I think the right guy probably won this fight. KG could have done a little bit more if he would have tried a little bit more wrestling.
Yeah.
I think that would have sealed the deal here.
I think so too. And he went to go for that takedown late in the 3rd round, but it was just a little bit too late. I think if he would have tried at least in the 2nd round and would have actually got Till down, I think we'd be looking at a different winner.
Okay, and it looked like early on Kevin Gastelum was, on the right track to winning this fight. Okay, a real clinch-heavy 1st round. Darren Till making his middleweight debut. Now, see, Gastelum also used to fight at welterweight, but he's already had a few fights at middleweight, so he's kind of figured it out already. Darren Till, in a post-fight interview, was saying he wanted to fake an injury before the walkout because he just didn't want to be in there. Yeah. So, nerves definitely, and fighters are actually starting to be more open about their nerves and stuff, which is probably good. Because guess what? I fought amateur, and that was scary as fuck. Could you imagine going out there in MSG
Yeah,
Like,
making your fucking debut in a new fucking weight class with someone that's already been established a little bit.
yeah, and coming off a fucking devastating KO loss to the man in the main event, Jorge Masvidal. So what I'm saying is, Kelvin could have done a little bit more. I think he was on the right track with the clinching, but he should have switched. He should have dropped for some doubles, some singles, worked some chain wrestling, really put the weight on Till, and that probably would have weighed more into the later rounds. He would have been putting that shit in the face.
Because, I mean, even though Darren Till was, obviously the taller guy, the more lanky guy.
Dude, he was fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, even though he was huge, I still think Gastelum would have out-wrestled him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Till's wrestling is not as good as Kevin Gastelum's. That's just a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Also, just an FYI, they had Jared Cannonier as backup for that fight.
Really?
Yeah, Jared Cannonier. He missed weight, okay, but he was just a backup, so it's okay. It's okay. It's not that big a deal. He misses weight by 0.8 pounds, I believe it was.
Oh, damn.
But he was the backup because Darren Till was having some issues, some traveling issues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so UFC called on Jared Cannonier, who really didn't need to take that fight, even if Till didn't make it. I think that's probably a step backwards for Cannonier, but it puts him in good graces with the UFC.
Definitely.
Now look, he missed weight as a backup. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that, and so can he. So can he. He said there was a misstep. I understand where the misstep was. It won't happen again. I believe him.
Oh, definitely.
I believe him. And this just, it gives him one more in the bank for the UFC. He was willing to cut weight and potentially fight. Just potentially. It wasn't guaranteed. There was no contract signed. So that's why I believe the missed weight here is okay, at least in my book. And look, the guy's fought as heavy as heavyweight.
Yeah.
So give the guy a fucking break if he can't make middleweight on short notice. But yeah, Darren Till looked huge. He looked good. He's trying to be a little bit less cocky, but still, got some of that swag going, is what the cool kids are calling it these days. So I'm very excited to see Darren Till at middleweight. He says he's not done with welterweight, but I think he should be.
Yeah, I mean, after that, it was just a split decision, but still, the performance that he put on, I think he could stay in this division.
I think he should stay in this division. I think welterweight should just be a thing of the past because he looked absolutely enormous. He'll give a lot of guys problems just with his size.
Definitely.
Kevin Gastelum, one of the stronger guys in the division, even though he does give up a lot of height and reach. He's just one of those guys that's just really strong and could probably fight at light heavyweight if he wanted to.
Like a little tank.
Which, if depending on how the commission sees everything, they let him fight, but there was some weight issues on the scale. Kevin Gastelum needed curtain to make weight, and it looked like when he was like this, he had his elbow on the coach and pushed up a little bit, right? And checked in at 184. Yeah. So what I'm saying is he cheated. He didn't make weight. If you watch, so I watched a bunch of videos. Oh shit, 808. We got it.
We got it in.
Okay. I watched a bunch of videos from a bunch of different angles, and you can clearly see that if it was just like this, they wouldn't be moving together. They swayed together.
Oh.
That was the clincher for me.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't moving, but move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh shit, another 808. It wasn't like super, super noticeable, but it was noticeable. Where you could see both of them move at the same time, and that for me sealed the deal. Let me readjust here.
That's fucking crazy. Like, why would you... I know, like, you're trying to make the weight and whatever so you can fight, but still, like, come on, just fucking cut the weight and just make it.
5'9", okay? 5'9", and he can't make 85. Get the fuck out of here. Kudos to you. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But You know, it is what it is. Your main event now. It's main event time. We gave KG enough.
Boom, boom. I don't know
So
why I did that.
I don't know what I did. So this was a title fight. So it was 5 rounds, and it was for the BMF title, Baddest Motherfucker. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal versus Nathan Diaz ends via doctor stoppage. Round number 3.
Boo.
Round number 3. So this is between rounds 3 and 4. There was some cuts on Diaz's eye.
Yeah, there was one on his eyebrow that looked like filet mignon. And then there was a cut like underneath his eye. Looked like someone tried to like stab him.
It looked like somebody tried to carve the Nike emblem under his eye.
Just cut it.
And then this gash up here was pretty good. It wasn't as bad as Tyson Fury's.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse. So unfortunately, this is also the same doctor that told Michael Chandler that his leg was broken when he fought Brent Primus to defend his Bellator title, and actually ended up losing his title because the doctor said, your leg is broken, and called the fight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't like this doctor. Fighting in New York, as historical as that arena is, a lot of fighters got to be fucking terrified. I forget who said it, but somebody said on Twitter, I'm not going to take credit for this one, but somebody said on Twitter, please do not have Khabib versus Ferguson in New York.
Shit.
So I'll co-sign on that. Definitely don't have that fight in New York. That needs to be in Vegas, where they know how to do fights. So yeah, it was a great fight. Masvidal, I think you're looking at a 30-27 if you're going to put a scorecard to these rounds. I don't think you give Diaz a round.
No, I mean Diaz was he was trying to bring some pressure and stuff, but Masvidal, man, he was
He had the right game plan.
Yeah, right game plan, and he backed up his shit talking. There's a lot of guys that can't do that, and I think Masvidal is one of those guys.
Now, Masvidal and Diaz definitely looked like they were having a lot of fun out there. Okay, Masvidal was all smiles, but he had the right game plan. He was using his footwork to get out of trouble when Diaz would pressure him up against the cage. Anytime that Diaz would put him in the clinch, he'd turn him immediately. Masvidal even attempted a couple takedowns, and I think got one. There was a submission attempt at the end of round.
I think it was in the middle. No, it was the end of round 2.
It was the end of round 2. There was a potential leg submission. It looked like maybe like an ankle lock or a calf slicer attempt from Diaz, which I don't think he's got any of those on his record. Don't quote me, but I don't think he has any leg submissions. Most of his submissions are chokes.
Yeah.
But it was a fun fight, and it was living up to the hype. It really was. Until that fucking doctor got in there and fucked everything up.
I do like how Masvidal was trolling a little bit. As soon as the first round got underway, he went like he was gonna throw that knee like it's like I don't think that is ever gonna work ever again. I think that was like a one time, like, you can probably yell at me all you want, I don't care, but I think that Masvidal Askren fight, I think that was like a one-time deal. I don't think that'll ever happen again. No, it won't. Well, at least the way that fight ended, I should say, that probably would never happen again. Well, you're never going to get another 5-second knockout like that with a flying knee. Holy shit. Now look, Masvidal gets the title here, but both guys are interested in a rematch. Dana White says it's not going to happen. But Dana White says a lot of things. He says a lot of things. And it's smart to be the president and say that fight's not going to happen. And here's why. You say, absolutely not, it's not going to happen. Just like when your mom tells you, absolutely not, do not sneak out of the house. But what's the first fucking thing you do? You sneak out of the house. So when you say it's not going to fucking happen, what do we want? We want Masvidal Diaz 2. It's Masvidal Diaz 2 or death. I don't know about death, but but that's what I'm saying. So for Dana White to say it's not going to happen, that's extremely intelligent. You know what I mean? That's business smart. Just to tell the people it's not going to happen, because now that's all they want. Yeah, get it really, really hyped to put some butts in seats. And maybe have it in Vegas at the MGM.
Yeah, something. All I know is I'd watch that fight again, but I don't think you're going to get a different outcome. I think Diaz is tough. I think Diaz, if the doctor doesn't stop it, he's going to continue.
Yeah.
But I think that Masvidal pretty much just does the same thing. He had the perfect game plan to fight a guy like Diaz, and it went according to plan. And I don't think there's really anything that Diaz could have done to change things. I think it's a bad matchup for Diaz. Now,
you can only block so many shots with your face. I mean, I know that's what he's kind of like noted for is like his badass and toughness. But dude, you can only block so many shots with your face.
Now, moving forward, Masvidal says, this belt is cool. I really like this belt. I like the way it's designed, but I'm already thinking about the other belt. And of course, we're talking about the 170-pound welterweight title that is going to be on the line next month in Vegas, the UFC 245, Usman versus Covington. Now, Covington and Masvidal, they have some history because they used to be best buds. They used to be best friends. And now they're fucking borderline mortal enemies. And it's because it's all about business. And these guys are both at the top of the food chain. They said, if we were going to fight each other, it was going to be for a title. But now, if that might come to fruition, if Covington can beat Usman, then I think you're looking at Masvidal versus Colby Covington. But again, it all depends on what happens with this BMF belt. Now, if they said, hey, we're going to run it back, I'm okay with it. If they said, hey, nah, Masvidal gets the winner of Usman Covington, I'm with it. So basically, you can play this any way you want, and I'm down.
Yeah, it'll be a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win for the UFC for sure.
Definitely.
To just create this belt out of nowhere, courtesy of Nate Diaz. This whole show don't happen if Nate Diaz don't say something about him defending his belt against Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
Okay? it just doesn't happen. So the fact that this whole thing materialized because of Diaz, I think you kind of owe him a little bit, right? Because you don't have this fucking outrageous pay-per-view. You don't have this successful night of fights. I mean, you probably get some decent fights, but you're not going to have this. Yeah. This was something. This was an event that was on a whole different level.
Yeah, this entire card. I mean, you're at Madison Square Garden. You're at the mecca of all sports entertainment and whatever the fuck I can't even think of. You got to bring your A game. And I think everybody on this card, win or loss, they all brought their A game at MSG.
Except for Arlovsky, because he didn't have time. But I'll tell you what, it was super necessary. Me wearing this shirt, my 3-piece in a soda, because Masvidal did take the title. And he will be back again soon, baptizing fools. So I look for the return of both gentlemen in your main event, Nathan Diaz and Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. But that's going to about do it for us. Look out for our interview with Devin Powell. What was that?
Wherever the video might.
So it's a Skype interview with Devin Powell, and then next week I'm gonna try and get some of that LFA. Oh yeah, hey, LFA, UFC Fight Pass going forward. So the last 2 events that they have for the year are gonna be on UFC Fight Pass, and then we're looking for a pretty active 2020 from LFA. So the new home for Legacy Fighting Alliance.
I'm so fucking.
UFC Fight
I've been
Pass.
missing my LFA, man.
Tell you what, me too. So, but yeah, that's all we got for you. I'm gonna try and get some of those boys on next week. So until next time. HeadKick. Audio. All right, we are back at it again. The championship rounds with Devin Powell. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How is she?
She's good. She's just chilling. She's getting a little bit of Halloween candy, so she's stoked.
Nice. Well, I just got off work on a long-ass shift. John, how about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I just got done with my schoolwork, so I'm passing my programming class, so that's all I care about for right now.
Well, that's good here. Now, listen, Devin Powell, you're coming off a win at Bellator. What was it, 232, 231? It was that weekend. I know it was that weekend. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah, so Bellator 232 over Marcus Surin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but that's neither here nor there. Dude, that was a hell of a performance, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it felt good, man. I needed that one for sure.
I think getting the win the way you did had to feel a little bit better than probably just like a decision win, because that was emphatic and like the guy couldn't contest it. He was trying to take out the ref.
Yeah, I mean, it felt great, man. He's hats off to him. It's tough as nails. Didn't want to tap and ended up going out on the shield, But it's just one of those fights that crazy stuff happens in MMA. I happen to be on the good side of it, which it's only half of the time. I've gotten some good publicity over some bad stuff, some good publicity over some good stuff. I had just on like some platforms over 10 million views. So I think it's at like 13 or 14 million on like an ESPN platform, and a bunch of other ones over 3 million and whatnot. So yeah, it's all over the place. It's pretty cool, It's just not too normal of a finish, So it was felt really nice to get that done.
Yeah, and it seemed like at the end there was so much uncertainty, because when you get a choke that late in the round, you're not sure if he's just, resting for the end of the round or if he was out. So it seemed like even you were surprised with the finish.
Yeah, I you don't always train with guys that are that tough that'll let you put him to sleep. And I didn't feel anything, So it was he was either shaking his leg to try and keep himself awake, or his leg was twitching because he was out. But by the time the bell went off, he was gone. His arm was straight up, and he just kind of went into fight or flight mode, which happens. He went right back into his wrestling instincts, just autopilot. And but yeah, I let go and put everything I had in that choke. At Skill Strength, we were doing these drills where I'm doing like 20 seconds straight of battle ropes and immediately going onto 20 seconds straight of 100-pound heavy bag or sandbag squeezes, where I'm squeezing the thing like I'm trying to pop it. So it's short times where I'm squeezing as hard as I can, putting everything in, trying to get that choke strength up, and it paid off. Just put everything into it, and at the very least, if you don't get it, you think something like that will give you the last touches on the round. I was trying to win the fight, obviously, but even if I didn't pull it off, I wasn't gonna, I was gonna put everything into it, because that, it looks good, and I always look to finish fights. And being games with me, a lot of people don't always do that. Some people try and play it safe. He wanted to outperform me, So that's what happens when people do that. They you test the waters. Sometimes you get bit.
Yeah, I agree. Jonathan, what you got for Mr. Powell over here?
Well, again, thanks for taking time out of your day to chat with us. It's always awesome getting to talk to you.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me. So, I was kind of doing just a little bit of digging around, and you were kind of mulling over the, I guess the whole retirement thing. Had lost, is that something that you were really kind of contemplating, or was it just something you just kind of like spat out there?
No, I mean it's not like I feel like this fight I did like a ton of things differently. I think every fight I put my heart and soul into the camps, and I do everything I can to try and get the job done. There's little tweaks here and there that I try and make adjustments, but I'm always training super hard, and I've never been blown away. I've never been finished. I've never been close to finished. I've never even been hurt in a fight. If you ask me, my honest thought. I've been injured in fights, but not hurt. But I just the decisions just weren't going my way in the UFC, and there's some crappy stuff behind some of that stuff. And it was a fight that I thought I won a decision where I doubled my opponent's strike count, but I lost a split decision. But I got the job done once, and that was a huge milestone for me. Proving that I could compete in there. The other fights, just wasn't my night. But I don't think I was, ever blown out of the water by any means. And then I just felt like I was doing everything I could to try and get these fights to go my way. And this was my next and last chance to kind of like prove where I belonged on a world stage. I own my own academy. I have a family. And it's just, I don't feel like if I couldn't prove on that night, yet again, where my place was, that maybe it's time just to focus on being a teacher and helping everyone else get ready for their fights and their big opportunities, and following my footsteps, just kind of go a little further than me. So I would have been very unhappy if I lost that fight, but I also I think I would have been able to come to terms, with calling it quits.
Gotcha. So if I was going to find that silver lining.
Yeah. It's not, I think a big thing for me is that I know that I don't need to fight. I just enjoy it. I love martial arts and I love competition, but I have something in a platform where I can always I can always just keep doing what I'm doing and not have to go through the hard camps and the sparring and stuff. So
Gotcha. So now that you've got the W, what's next for you going into 2020?
It's up to. I mean, obviously, I think that I brought a lot of attention to Bellator that night. I mean, not that this stuff is like the reason I do it, but I definitely did look at the other videos from the night as things to compare. Somebody walked away with $1 million that night, but they're any of the views on the videos that they put out from that fight, are less than a single percentage of what I've been pulling in for views. So I bet there's probably at least 20 something million views on that finish now over all the different platforms. Several of them with over 3 million, and one of them with like 14. So it's definitely mind blowing. But I think that I proved that I can obviously compete in that cage, and that I'm exciting and I'm marketable. I went in there. I brought. People traveled a decent bit, about like 3 hours or so to see me fight. I had 150 people in that arena that night, which was nice, amazing to do. But I'm always going to bring that energy and that that fire. So I think with all that press that I brought to them, or all those views that I brought to the Bellator cage, I hope that they'd consider me for another fight and hopefully a decent payday. I know that your first fight you're not going to make a ton of money, but I'm hoping that I prove that I'm worthy of it. So we'll just take it from there. But I don't have a contract, so if they're like,
okay,
if we really like Marcus, we wished he won, even though I ended up getting a win and got a bunch of press. That's up to them. No hard feelings, anyways. What I told my management is that I wanted the opportunity to hit the hat trick, and I think I did that. I have a win inside of World Series of Fighting's cage, a win inside the Octagon, and now a win inside of Bellator's cage. So for me, it's a big deal for sure. So it's all stuff it's only important to me to take the fight if it excites me. I'm not gonna go just cash a check. If it's not a fight that excites me, then I'm not gonna consider it.
That's gotta be historic. I don't know how many fighters get a win in Bellator, World Series of Fighting, and the UFC. There she is.
oh yeah,
that's gotta be like you said, that hat trick has got to be pretty rare these days, because World Series of Fighting, it's not around anymore. So it's not like you can run out your contract in Bellator and just go sign with World Series of Fighting. Now it's PFL. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Those guys with wins from World Series of Fighting in the UFC, like David Branch and G, and obviously some other guys. But as far as Bellator crossovers, I mean, I've seen some guys go from the UFC and now to Bellator. You know, but there aren't too many of the World Series of Fighting guys, I don't think. So it's a pretty cool accomplishment, you know.
Hell yeah! What else you got,
Definitely. That's actually all I've got for you, man. You got all my questions answered. So I do thank you again. I'm going to shoot you back over. Now, this is like video chat roulette, so I don't know where Steve is going to be on the thing, and I don't know where you're going to be at. So wherever Steve's at, what you got?
All right. So my question for you, is about weight classes, because Bellator just had their welterweight Grand Prix, and there was a lot of attention on that. Okay, Benson Henderson and Michael Chandler was just announced at a catchweight, and it seems like Bellator is willing to put fighters in different weight classes for not necessarily publicity, but for fun fights. Would you consider like a 160 or even a 170 fight?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of that. The only reason I go to 55 is because I know that the other guys are cutting to get to 55. If I was fighting someone with a 55er frame at 170, we would still, the crazy thing is we'd still cut weight to get to 170. Like, I weighed in at the arena because that's what they do when you show up to the arena before you fight. I weighed in at 178, you know, so that's 23 pounds from 155. So that's not that crazy, as sad as that is.
Right.
In Argentina, I felt kind of sick the whole fight week, and I only weighed in at 167 at the arena. But you know, I was crazy travel and stuff. But you know, normally I put on some good weight, and that's what I did. So if I fought at 170, I'd probably end up being like 183 or something when I got in the cage. The weight cuts are horrible. I hate it. But if you're going to be competitive, you got to do it. You know, if I were to go and fight a 170 fighter that rehydrates, they get up, you know, some of them will be over 200 pounds, which is insane, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I love the idea of that. You know, there's a handful of catch weights. Nick Newell had a catch weight, which was awesome. You know, his camp was not very long, so he had a safe catch weight with another good fighter. They met in the middle, and they didn't have to kill themselves. They could just kind of focus on training hard for the short period of time they had for their camp. So, yeah.
Okay, and would you be down for a Grand Prix? I guess weight class wouldn't matter at this point.
Would I? Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like dream come true thing. That's another bucket list thing. You know, always go in to look to win those things, but like just the opportunity to compete on something like that would be remarkable, you know?
Yeah, and they're also over, and these questions are more geared towards Bellator because that was your last fight. I know that you guys didn't sign a contract, which I'm sorry, but they're stupid if they don't.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Well, sorry, but not sorry. Okay, I don't think it worked for Bellator, so I don't really care. But they'd be stupid to not sign you. But they're doing a lot of work outside of the country. They got a show with Japan at the end of the year. They've been to Spain multiple. Sorry, not Spain. Is it Spain?
Yeah, I think they did one in
Italy.
Spain.
Italy. They do Italy a lot because of that Alessia
Sakara.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was the one with kickboxing as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, and then there's another question. So Bellator is being really flexible with kickboxing bouts. You know, they're going to a lot of different countries, and even some of their fighters have done cross promotion where they've done professional wrestling. So, do any of those things excite you?
Like going to Italy or Japan and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be incredible to go fight in Japan. There's so much MMA history.
Oh, yeah.
With pride and everything. That's one of the places that I said, like, there's a few that really speak to me. Obviously, if they ever came any closer to my house, I'm from Maine, so even fighting at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, still a little ways. If they ever came to Boston, that'd be amazing.
Right.
I told them if they ever came to, when they come to Madison Square Garden again, that'd be, a dream come true kind of fight. And then, Japan, that'd be a no-brainer. The only big thing with that, honestly, is how they treat people travel-wise. With the UFC, they covered 2 of the flights, and then you'd have to pay for the rest. So I usually pay for 3 tickets out of pocket. Like my last flight to Argentina, them was $5,000 out of pocket for the plane tickets. So if I got paid the way that I just got paid, I wouldn't. I'd lose money just on my flights. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So it would always depend on that, because I can't go there and lose money. So
Yeah.
I would 100% love to do it. If it was something that, win or lose, I would still make money that I could come home and take care of my family with.
It's got to make financial sense. I think you're in a point in your career where it's time to be more conscientious about that sort of thing, especially since you don't need to fight. This is something that you just want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I take a lot of there's a lot of little hits we take to the academy when we do these fight camps, because we give up more time. We travel to Joe Lozon's gym more often. We're not in the front of the gym the way that we normally are, and if we're managing the gym, just the 2 of us, it's a lot more difficult to keep everything aligned. The people that are teaching the classes they're teaching. Their job isn't to try and get new clientele. They're just kind of helping us out. So when we're missing that aspect, or when the black belt head coach isn't there as much, people can fall out. So that's like significant money over. If you look at in one fight camp, say we lose 3 people, which is a pretty low estimate as far as when camps go on. That's $1,200 each person for a year. So we're looking at $3,600 in a year loss. And that's right there is like a Bellator paycheck. So it's something that we got to sacrifice a lot. So financially, it's got to make sense to come to terms with those losses. And then with wins and things like this, it helps the academy out as well, though. So we make that sacrifice, but now in the long run, because of such a big viral video that we created and getting a win inside another legendary cage, it's going to bring more people in. It looks good on the website and all that. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. That's going to look good anywhere, man.
Yeah.
So another question that I wanted to ask you is, what happened to your fucking chops, bro?
My chops, my beard.
Where is it, man?
Yeah, I got we call that the war beard, and I don't always if I'm not satisfied after a fight, I don't always get rid of it. But I feel like this was one where I let everything all out. It was an emotional debut, and I had to let it go so I can start fresh and get a new a new war beard going. Plus, I'm doing a little Halloween thing at Cage Titans tomorrow, so I don't need a beard for that costume. So
Nice.
Okay, and you split a lot of time training over at Joe Lozon's gym. Now, he also just got a big win and was also contemplating the R word at one point before his big win. Now, you guys both were contemplating. You guys are both coming off huge, huge victories. So what is the mindset going forward? Are we only taking fights if they excite you? Or are we only taking fights if the money's right? Or like, what is it going to be going forward?
It's got to be a combination of the two. I think that if it's not something that is going to pay for the very significant health risks that we go through, that it's not worth it. If it's not something that will further my chances with what I'm doing with it, then it's not really worth it. Been through a lot. My last handful of fights, I broke my nose, I tore my MCL, I broke my eye socket in my UFC debut. My last fight in Argentina, I got a hyphema in my eye in the beginning of the second round, so I was completely blind in my right eye for like 2/3 of the fight. There's a lot of crappy stuff that we go through inside that cage that there's just damage to my back that will never go away, bone spurs in my neck. And, hard takedowns, chokes. It's got to be worth it. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to want to do when I retire. And if I'm not getting enough money to, to take care of my family and whatnot, it's just kind of crazy. So.
And what was the feeling after the big win? Because I imagine the feeling for his win and your win got to be both like pretty significant.
Yeah, it was just like it was like 12 months of hard work with kind of being in the shadows, just not really being in the limelight, just training my butt off every day, going to Joe's, training with the guys from Port City, training at Skill Strength every single week. Had no idea whether or not a fight would happen, but I kept writing on my workouts. On the top of my Skill Strength workout, I'd write Bellator or bust. And then finally we got the chance.
Nice.
It was also like 7 months or so kind of being strung along with the UFC, not sure if I get another fight. And then finally they said, we don't know if we can get you another fight. So if you want, we like you a lot, go fight a couple times locally and we'll bring you back probably. And again, that didn't excite me. I didn't want to go fight in some local league again. And that's exactly what you have to do. But I already did that. And I always say till the wheels fall off, I'm not taking any steps back. And to me, honestly, how big of a scale that fight was and how much it did for me, I consider it a sidestep. And now it's better than anything I've ever done as far as like you're looking at building your brand. It's the most eyes I've ever had on myself in my entire career. So.
Well, and you also have over at Bellator, if they see something like you got your 20 plus million or whatever it is views on your win over there, they might take that and run with it. You could become a fixture over at Bellator, where in the UFC, you were just another fighter.
Yeah, exactly. And I would love that. I think I've worked at the sport and fought for about a decade now, and I would love for that to finally be the case somewhere,
Yeah, definitely. I think you're very marketable. I think you got a fun fighting style. It's never not bloody. That's for sure. You're usually pretty bloodied up and bringing the action. Now, I want you to call your shot. Let's say Bellator gives you a one-fight deal, okay? They give you a one-fight deal, but you get to pick the opponent outside of the champ. Who are you picking?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. It's tough to all those things. I know. So all I know is that Nick Newell had a tough fight, and I heard it could have gone either way. And I like Nick a lot, but he lost that fight. And I'm sure. I mean, he probably wants to run it back with that guy. But if Bellator isn't looking to do that, I'm sure it'd be an awesome fight getting to fight that guy that Nick had lost to. But I just know that was my weight class, and we both just won the same night, and he's got an exciting style, and I'm sure we could put a couple blood stains on that carpet. So
yeah. There we go. Let me see. John, find that guy. Find the kid that's beat Newell, so we can have a proper call out here. Okay.
All right.
So we'll find the pertinent information for you. You don't worry about that. Okay. All right. And then my last question I got for you is, what do you think was different between like Bellator versus UFC? Like, what are like the biggest differences, I guess?
A lot less stress. The UFC, there's a lot more pressure with everything. Like, for one, the Reebok thing, like never show up to the wrong place at the wrong time or the right time wearing the wrong thing. It's like you had to be very strict with all that. Like, they're checking your underwear, they're scribbling out stuff that's not supposed to be like visible. And then just everything. I mean, it's good to be punctual. Obviously, it's a huge corporation, but it just made everything a little more stressed. With Bellator, we weighed in at like 10 a.m. and when we got there, we didn't even have to sit or wait for anything. We just immediately walked in, got on the scale, and then they let us just go off, hydrate, have some snacks, and then we came back to see the doctors after all that, which was crazy. I remember some UFC fights where I would go and get my like physical and stuff before I even rehydrated. And again, I'm 23 pounds underweight, like feeling horrible, and I'm trying to bend over, touch my toes, and like they're checking out my heart and all this stuff. So getting that little bit of a laid back aspect during the weigh-in process was great. And then day of the fight, it's come downstairs. We're going to give you credentials at 2, and then you're totally free. Go to the arena, be there by like 5 or 6, whatever it was, and then you'll be good. We go to our room and just get our hands wrapped and get ready for war. So it wasn't that stressful, which was nice. And then other than that, it's bright lights, big logos inside a cage, talented people that are trying to take your head off, and all that's the same. Just people watching, screaming for or against you. One goes up, one goes down, and then you go collect your paycheck.
And sponsors come back in this one, yeah?
Yeah, that was awesome. Going in there wearing some sponsors and stuff, and having, some sponsors on my my banner and stuff. So that was really cool.
Okay, well, we're not signed to Bellator, so is there any pressure on you to go either way?
Is there any what? Sorry.
I said, is there any pressure on you to go either way? UFC, Bellator, shit, throw PFL in the mix, ONE FC? Like,
no, I mean, ONE FC and PFL excite me mainly because I haven't fought for them. PFL 100%.
right?
And still get a handful of times and get $1 million, but Bellator's doing that now, so
Right.
maybe consider me for that. I don't know how many fights you do to get to that step. The one thing with PFL, and it's like, I'm a fighter, I get it, but I honestly do care about my brain a little bit. It does scare me, the 2 fights in one night. You can have a rough fight, and like, how do you know whether or not you might have like some swelling in your brain or something? Usually if you have a rough fight, you take a lot of shots, they take you and they get you a CAT scan at the hospital just to be safe. There's been a handful of boxers that have just died, which is horrible. So 2 fights a night does scare me a bit. If I'm feeling really bad after a fight, if I have like severe headaches or whatever, I want to get checked out. So you don't even have time for that to like kick in. You're like going out, all right, let's get the adrenaline going again, whatever. And I haven't been out back, so I'm not trying to like rain all over them. It's incredibly exciting to see something like that. And maybe they do every single test humanly possible. So you're completely safe. But without really knowing that, that's the one thing with PFL that like kind of spooks me a little bit, as much of a little baby it sounds like. But if I'm not in the fight camp, I'm not sparring hard. I'm technical sparring, trying to be smart, always rolling hard, always training hard, but trying to keep the brain preserved as much as possible. But yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like wherever the deal comes from, as long as it's perky, you're in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, PFL is exciting, ONE FC is exciting, Bellator is exciting. I would never say I wouldn't fight for the UFC again, but they basically gave me my chance. I didn't do as good as I wanted to. Most people don't. No hard feelings, but I got a shot somewhere else, and I hope it was good enough for them to keep me around and I can get more notoriety than I had when I was with the UFC. That's always our ultimate goal, do as well as we can in the whatever career we're pursuing. We're not looking to downslide or backslide.
No back steps, only front steps, just like your fighting style.
Yep.
Just like that fighting style. Okay, so the kid's name is Manny Muro. That's who you're calling out. It's Manny Muro.
Manny Muro. Got it.
There you go. That's who we're calling out. Where's she at? Come on.
Where you at, Phoebes?
There she is.
Come say hi, Phoebe.
Oh, she's just munching on some plastic, trying it out.
That's awesome.
Just a lick.
All right, man. Well, dude, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we got the first one was just audio. This one we got some video in there. We got and you said it was Pig Master? Is that
I've been called the Pig Father.
The Pig Father?
The Pig
Okay.
Father.
My fight shirt was like
that I said earlier.
It was my fight shirt was a parody of the Godfather.
Oh, do you have any left?
What's that?
I said, do you have any left?
Yeah. Shoot me a message and we'll see what we got. We'll see if we can send you one. But yeah,
all right,
they're pretty great.
drop your links. Drop your links to all your shit. Go ahead, man.
So like Instagram would be Devin Powell _Nostos MMA. That's NOSTOS MMA. Twitter is Devin Powell MMA, I think. Yeah, I think that's about it. Facebook, I haven't made a page, never did, and I have several hundred requests, but I'm at that like 5,000 range or whatever. You can follow me, but I don't think I can like add friends or whatnot. I don't go on there too often. But yeah.
All right, and then we're at that point in the interview where, oh, hey, what's up, Pooper?
This is Gunner. He's a good
What
boy
was that?
too.
What's his name?
Gunner Nelson.
Gunner. Nice. All right. Well, we're at that point in the interview where we give you some time to thank whoever you want that got you to this point in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I started with Seacoast BJJ and MMA with Troy Pickering and Adam Rivera and Jimmy coach and without DeLuca and those guys, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. So those guys forever in my heart. And then Port City with Jay Mansfield, who corners me. My gym, all my wonderful coaches and teammates. Skill of Strength with Mike Perry has been a game changer. And then everyone at Lozon's, Joe's the most inviting person. Such a warm welcome every time I go there. And he spends, countless hours with me, rolling with me or just helping me out. Same thing with any of his students. So, everybody there is amazing. So it's been good. And obviously my wife does everything aside from the training itself. She just drives me everywhere and gets everything done for me. So without her, it would be impossible. I would never be at the fight. I'd be, I'd end up missing it somehow.
All right, man.
Management, she manages my life, but the fight aspect, Top Game Management, Tyson Chartier is the man. So he's doing great things with great people. He's about to go to Russia with Calvin, and I can't wait to see that happen.
Yeah. Dude, that's going to be such a fucking sick fight.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Well, get Bellator, get their shit together. Okay?
Yeah,
they need to get their shit together before somebody else comes and takes you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I will. We'll get on them.
I know, man. Thank you for your time. Have yourself a good night, man.
You got it. You too. See you later, Phoebe.
Bye, Phoebe.
Say bye.
Later.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Later.